Hello, are we live? We are. A bit of an ad hoc live video. Wasn't actually planning to do this because I actually am going out in the next 30 minutes. I decided to do a little bit of shopping, that sort of thing. But I thought I'll just try something else. Instead of using two screens, I'm just using one, and I can actually navigate between the two screens or between the two pieces of things I'm looking at. Because I need StreamYard, the studio, on one screen and what I'm looking at on another screen. But I can do that just looking at my iMac. Anyway, so why am I doing an ad hoc pre-open ASX live video today? And that's because of the extreme volatility we saw on Wall Street overnight. And it was extreme. So this is going to be a short video, because I'm going out very soon. And hi, Forest Hill. Actually, in fact, I'll do that right now. What stocks are on your buy the dip shopping list? Nothing just yet. In fact, I do expect a pretty bad day today, but who knows? So nothing just yet. I'm looking for just some trades right now. That's all I'm looking for. And then I'm going to do a bit of a deeper dive into some of the high quality companies that are looking like pretty good buys. And I think that is the play, is look for high quality companies first and then go down the list of companies you like by that route. Anyway, so what happened on Wall Street overnight? So let's have a look at the charts. And yep, got to connect because I'm using two different screens here. Anyway, not two different screens as in physical screens, but two screens on my iMac. Okay, so futures down. So the ASX 200 futures are down currently, 1.89%. They close at 7 a.m. and they will reopen just before our trading begins. So down 2%. And at one point last night, our futures were up probably 2 to 3%, because if you have a look at what happened on Nasdaq, in fact, I'm looking at the Nasdaq futures. Go to Nasdaq, the NDQ, which is the US 100, Nasdaq down 1.95%, S&P 500 down 1.57%, Dow Jones Industrial down 0.84%. That does not tell us the whole story. If you have a look at the 1 minute Nasdaq, it actually opened up higher by 3.52%. And I saw this through the night that their futures were going up. And that was a good sign. Well, until I went to bed. Anyway, so their futures, their market opened up a fair bit higher. In fact, from the close, the previous day to the high, Nasdaq was up 4.5%. So everything was looking pretty good. In fact, our futures were at its highest point at that point in time, which makes sense. But then, if you go back to my ruler, from the peak, whoops, I got to do this right. From the peak to the low, we saw the Nasdaq drop about, I think it was even more than that, I think it was about 7%, 8% or something like that, maybe even more than that. So we saw extreme volatility. And that's the reason why we are going to be down, because in the end, Nasdaq was down about 2% after looking like we're going to be up at one point in the trading. And this sort of volatility is very normal in uncertain times because we just don't know what's going to happen. I saw a good quote from Howard Marks in regards to this, that if you have a thought about what's going to happen in the next 6 months, more than likely you're going to be wrong. So that's the way to view these periods is, there's no point trying to forecast or predict what's going to happen. There was a good article in Market Index, Carl Capolingo, why Trump's tariffs are sheer genius and now is the time to buy ASX shares. Now, it's not that he believes that, but he's going from the alternate view. What happens if what Trump is doing is going to turn out really well? What if? That's a very important question. What if? So you do, even if you're biased, I think it's very important to have a look at the alternative viewpoint. So that's what's going to happen on open this morning. We look like we're going to be down. So this point in time, the question is this going to be buy the dip situation? And that's the big question. Eggplant Eggplant Egg says, do you think it will fall to 7,000 today? I would say no. I'm going to say no. No, definitely not. Not today. Maybe during the rest of the week, maybe, but not today. That'll be a fairly big drop. So we're talking about a 6-7% drop. I don't think that's going to happen. So, yeah. Will China retaliate further? That's a good question, because America's retaliated, increases the tariffs on Chinese goods. Who knows what China is going to do? Whether 70 countries are now negotiating with USA, Trump administration, I don't actually believe that. And I would be of the view, if anyone asked me, any of these countries asked me, just stand firm against the Trump. They are acting as a bully. And we saw that with Australia. So there were quite a few questions. I forget who was answering these questions about Australia, that they have a trade surplus with Australia. So why have you put tariffs? And whoever mentioned it, whoever was doing the interview, just said, we're running up the score with Australia. So they're taking advantage of us. So they're being hypocritical, saying everyone's cheating against them, but you could say the same thing. They're cheating against us if you're using their logic. And we're just doing nothing, which is what we should do. We should just do nothing. Anyway, and they're using that with banned beef and that sort of thing, and probably rightly so. Anyway, so that's about it for now. Now, the other thing I like to do is just to go through announcements. So this is what I typically do before market opens. Go through announcements just to see if there's any sort of trading update, that sort of thing. We're in Pennies 4C and 5B season or month. We did see a trading update from a company called rent.com.au. I'm not even sure if I'm going to bother opening that up. It's a small company. I don't think they're profitable or even cash flow positive yet. What's his name put a lot of money into this. Bevan Slattery put a lot of money into this company quite a few years ago. Yeah, it's not the sort of company that would excite me. So even though I'm looking at it now, I'm not looking at it seriously. What does interest me is a company called Advanced Braking Technology, released their Pennies 4C. Now, this company does typically release their Pennies 4C fairly early, and they have been operating cash flow positive on occasion, and they're negative this particular quarter. So this is the company that have seen the share price rally over the past year or so, but I have not had a look at their chart for a while, because I think the share price has pulled back. I always get this one mixed up. It's Advanced Braking Technology, but the ticker code is not ABT, it's ABV. So this is their chart. We have to look at the daily chart, not the 1 minute chart. So the share price was on a nice rally and has pulled back lately. Yeah, so nice looking chart for Advanced Braking Technology. And what sort of company does this, what sort of thing does this company do? Do they do technology in regards to advanced braking stuff? Yes. Vic Steva says, so they're saying on TV that you guys don't buy a single hamburger, meaning beef, from the US. Is this true? Well, we banned US beef in 2003 because of mad cow, and we haven't actually banned US beef. But what has been happening, if I remember correctly, is US has been sending us beef from other countries, and we cannot be sure of the quality and whether that beef is safe. So we don't ban actually beef from United States if they sell us United States beef, if that makes sense. So we have to be very careful in Australia because biodiversity, that sort of thing. And we've seen, we have brought stuff into this country, rabbits, cane toads, that have been destructive to our habitat because we are unique. So we have to be very careful with this sort of thing. So yeah, we haven't completely banned US beef. That's a lie, even though that's the argument they're trying to say. Anyway, I think that might be it for this brief pre-open on the ASX. So things are not looking good. I always like to just have a brief look. New Zealand market is down as expected, and American futures actually down about 1%. So Nasdaq down about 1%, and Dow Jones about 1%, down about 1%. This is from opening of their futures, which was about an hour ago. So they opened their futures at 8 a.m. local time. So in the last hour, they're both down about 1%. So again, that means more than likely ASX will be down a fair bit today. So that's all I've got for this particular live video, 10 minutes long, and that's exactly what I wanted. So have a good day, and I'll be shopping. In fact, the reason I am shopping is because someone pointed out to me in an article that the best hot cross buns in Brisbane are in Indoor Repelli. I don't know why or where, but I'm going to find it. Okay, have a good day. See ya. Bye.